On the last weekend of April 2022, Rolling Thunder bike convoy demonstrations took place in Ottawa to celebrate Canadian freedoms. This was the largest pro-freedom event to take place in the capital since the Freedom Convoy, which was forcibly removed following the invocation of the Emergencies Act by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Rolling Thunder organizers had planned 3 days of programming, beginning on Friday, April 29th with a rally and march on Parliament Hill and ending Sunday, May 1st with a church service at the Capital City Bikers Church. However, people arrived to a church that had been vandalized with hateful graffiti. I had the opportunity to sit down and speak with Pastor Rob McKee about the incident, Rolling Thunder and the Freedom Convoy, how mandates and restrictions have affected their church and its members, as well as the work they do in the community. I was especially grateful to be able to do this interview, given that Pastor McKee had turned down requests from the legacy media. Thank you so much, Pastor, for joining me today. How about we start off with you telling me a bit about your church, its history, its beliefs, and the people it attracts?
Yeah, well, this church has been in existence since actually 1993. It was a church plant from a church called the Life Center. We were planted in the inner city of Ottawa, called the Downtown Church, and in 2000 ended up purchasing this building and moving from the core into Vanier and finding really a forever home. Bikers Church was a church birthed in 2002. A guy named Hillbilly Garner Foster was the founder, and his wife Nelia, out of a life of addiction and drugs and the motorcycle culture, had a radical encounter with Jesus that changed his life, and he said, I want bikers to experience this. So he thought he wanted to create a space where bikers would actually feel comfortable in coming to a church to experience the Jesus that he experienced. So in 2002, Bikers Church was birthed, and they were kind of nomads throughout the city. They were meeting in various locations until 2007. They found this location and became the permanent resident on Thursday nights. And then what happened, probably about a couple years later, the two churches really merged and became one. And so really now we just call ourselves Vanier Bikers Church.
So why did your church decide to get involved with Rolling Thunder Ottawa? I mean, I know you talked about before we started this interview, you talked about getting involved with different bike rallies. This bike rally had kind of a motive behind it. Why was that important for you to support this particular bike event?
Well, it's funny, when it comes to the Rolling Thunder, we weren't even really aware that they put our service time on their poster. Our service time is public knowledge. I was contacted after that and asked if I would actually pray at their ride. And again, being a bikers church and our ministry is being bikers, I thought that's a great opportunity to show them God's love, to pray peace and safety over their ride. And so I did. I prayed over their ride on the Saturday morning. And again, they had went ahead and put it on their schedule that anybody that was sticking around, if you want a church service, you got to go and check out this Bikers Church place. And so we were unaware, but we have a great team here that rallied around, and we didn't know what to expect. And so we had a team that was ready to serve anybody who came in. And again, that's our motto. Anybody can walk in our door and we're going to love them, regardless of their lifestyle, regardless of where they've been, what they've been through, because we feel that reflects the heart of Jesus. There's absolutely no judgment. And everything we do is try to foster an environment where somebody can come in that's hurting, that's broken, that's lonely, that's unlovable, that's an outcast, or is an up-and-comer and has their life all together, where they can kind of really flesh it out, what it really means to have a relationship with Jesus in a safe place.
So can you describe the acts of vandalism that, like, in detail from what you've seen that took place at the church?
It's happened actually a couple times, and so the first time was back in February when, again, we were just doing what we normally do as a church. Every day our doors are open for anybody to come in to get food and to get clothing. And we were doing that, and because of that, some people from the truckers convoy, they found their way in here and got themselves a hot meal. And some people didn't like that. They didn't like that. They thought that maybe we were harboring or we were creating a place for them to come and to plan and to strategize. And really, it was doing what we do every single day, just kind of loving on people the best that we know how. And that got some attention, and some of the people in the Vanier community didn't like that. And I actually caught a gentleman taping some signs to the door, and that was quite interesting. He threatened to kill me. Signs like Nazis' nest, burn them out, really explicit language. You have no bleep in place here, get the bleep out of here, I'm going to effing kill you. And so the police were involved with that. And then this coming past Sunday, when I rolled up to the church at around 6:30, because I knew it was going to be a busy day, so I wanted to get a lot of stuff done. And I saw the sign, the spray painting right away on the wall, and I just kind of thought, well, all right, okay, we must be doing something right. If people don't like the people who were welcoming me in, I think one of the greatest knocks on Jesus was they really didn't like who he hung out with. Right. And again, we don't discriminate, and anybody who comes in our doors is more than welcome to find themselves a safe place.
So you talked earlier about the Freedom Convoy, and you said that you came and you gave people some food. Is there anything else that you did throughout the Freedom Convoy to maybe help the truckers? Or
no, we just, our building was open, and like it's open every single day. So there was nothing different on our part. It's just instead of some Vanier people that were coming in, we had some truckers coming in, and a lot of them came in for our service on a Thursday night. They came for our service on a Sunday morning because, believe it or not, a lot of them had a faith background. And I think a lot of people painted every single participant with a pretty broad brush, and when that wasn't it at all. And so the people that we met were kind of some really incredible people, and they became friends, and we still stay in contact with them today, and their hearts were amazing. And so it was quite interesting to see the perspective and the image that was portrayed by media, when I thought they totally missed the mark.
So, the Freedom Convoy, and part of the reason why this Rolling Thunder happened is because of government mandates. For the last 2 years, Canadians have been put under some of the harshest restrictions in the Western world, especially in Ontario and in Quebec. Have government restrictions, including lockdowns and vaccine mandates, affected your church and its members? And if yes, how?
Yeah, I think right from the very get-go, the first lockdown that we experienced, when it was new to everybody, nobody knew what was happening. So everybody kind of went along with it, and we shut down. We went to online, and we pivoted really quick. We've got a great tech team here, so we were able to pivot really quick and tried to keep connection with a lot of people. But it didn't take long before we deal with a pretty broken congregation and community where a lot of people that are in need, and this is their lifeline. And to take that away from them, even for a month, is what was harsh, and a lot of them found that very hard. And so we adhered the first lockdown, and then we were able to open up again. The second lockdown came, and we said, you know what, this is hard. And so we started to get phone calls and say, I can't do this again. I'm alone. I'm going to relapse. Can I just come and sit in church? And we just made it a point and say, yeah, you can. Yeah, just come and sit. If you need to be here and need to be amongst our small little tech team that was here, was great. And I think what really did it for me is we had the opportunity to kind of connect with a young girl that just came out of the sex trafficking industry. And she got connected here at the church, and her life was getting radically turned around. There was joy, and there was healing that was happening. And then we entered the first lockdown. And because she was in a safe house, we had no contact for her. We couldn't reach out to her. We had no information on her, just her name. And the lockdown came, and it went, and I got a phone call probably about a month, not about 2 weeks after the lockdown lifted, and it was from this girl's grandmother just calling to thank, is this the Bikers Church? Is this Pastor Rob? Want to let you know our granddaughter loved it there. I said, oh my goodness, I'm so glad you called. We've not been able to get a hold of her. And she said, that's actually why I'm calling. With that loss of community and that safe place that she had, she kind of fell back into some old ways of her life, and she actually just lost her life to an overdose. And that just kind of floored me. I thought, no, we can't have this. We cannot have this. And so we saw numerous overdoses, people losing their life. And again, dealing with a lot of people that are coming out of a life of addiction It was hard. And so we just made it a point saying, if you need to be in church, our doors are open. And our motto was, we've got room for one more.
That's very unfortunate. I've heard a lot of lockdown stories. This is probably one of the saddest ones, and it just, I think, in my opinion, showed the lack of. And it was a microvision only one, without understanding that church, I think, at least in my opinion, and church is essential and mental health is essential. I know the police has opened an investigation into the matter. Are there any updates that you've been given? Perhaps do you maybe have an idea of who is behind this?
No, we've, again, being such a big presence in the neighborhood, you have people that like what you do and people that don't like what you do. And so we feel a lot of the stuff that stems from some neighbors that aren't happy about what we do. And we're just going to do our best to continue to build a bridge to them. The police have been fantastic. Every single officer that has come here, even the ones that were here on Sunday and that were sent by the city as liaisons, they were great. When I called about the graffiti, they responded within the half hour, had a forensic team down here taking photos and said, hey, we're going to work with you. I've already got a phone call from the detective who's been assigned the case, who's actually the same detective who worked on our first incident. And so, no, they've been top notch. Nothing as of yet has come of it. And I don't think we'll be informed. I said I don't need to be informed unless you feel I need to be.
What do you personally have to say to the person or the people that did this, or maybe that did it last time?
I would just say you're forgiven. And again, we'd love for you to actually really come in and see what we do on a daily basis, and the stuff that we do for the community, our free store, our bread giveaway, our food giveaway, the different events that we do from Santa through the community, through our backpack giveaway, our back to school block party. And I would just say, let's have a conversation. Come on in, the coffee's on me, and we'll have a chat.
Pastor, thank you so much for sitting down with me today and sharing a bit about your church and Rolling Thunder and how lockdowns have affected your community. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you for coming.
Following our interview, Pastor Rob gave me a tour of his church, showing me the different services it has to offer. To me, this showed that church is much more than just a place where people gather on Sunday morning. It is an essential part of so many people's lives. For True North, I'm Elie Cantin-Nantel.